Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to give you guys my top 10 boxing gloves for $200 and under. So check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here. Today I'll be giving you my top 10 boxing gloves for $200 and under. I know this is a video a lot of you have requested and it's taken me a little bit longer than I anticipated to put together, mainly because life as of lately has been really busy. And on top of that, I actually started putting this list together at the beginning of the year, and as you guys probably already know, there's been a lot of changes worldwide with the increased cost of goods, the tariffs and all of that. So you're starting to see a big increase on certain boxing goods, and depending on where it's coming from, of course. But there was a couple of gloves initially on this list that I actually had to take off because they're more than $200 now. One thing to also keep in mind is this list is for the cost of the glove itself. It does not include shipping. So if a glove is, say $185 and shipping is $20, obviously it's now going to be $205 including shipping. I do not include shipping because I feel like that's a separate cost, because some companies include free shipping, some companies are more. So shipping is a completely separate cost. This list is only for the cost of the glove itself. The other reason it's taking me a little bit longer is I've readjusted this list a few times, right? So when I put the initial list together, I look at it, and there's certain gloves I'm like, you know what, that needs to be a little bit lower, or this one should be higher. And I want to make sure I'm doing my due diligence and I'm giving you the best and most accurate list possible for the gloves I've personally tried and trained in and done a review on. So all the gloves on this top 10 list are gloves I've used personally, I've trained in, I've done a review. They're not gloves I've never touched before. They're obviously, if you're familiar with my channel, you've seen all the videos. So there's really no explanation needed there, but these are all gloves I've used, and it's not just from this past year, right? It's not from just from the beginning of 2025 or 2024. These are just top 10 gloves for $200 and under that I've experienced in the past that I feel that are probably the best value at that ranking for under $200. And for those of you that are wondering, yes, I will be coming out with a $100 and under list eventually. Again, I got to compile that list, and once I'm comfortable with it, then I'll create the video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and give you guys my top 10 boxing gloves for $200 and under. All right, coming in at number 10 is going to be the classic Top Boxer Win 1 boxing gloves. These retail for $110. They're a full genuine leather glove. You can get them in stock colorways, which are available on Top Boxer's website, as well as completely customized, multiple different sizes, and the glove is manufactured in Pakistan. Now, Muhammad Irfan, who is the owner of Top Boxer, has been around for many, many years, and to me is really kind of like the pioneer of the custom glove manufacturing, if you want to call it that. You're really seeing a lot of now, right? I call it PLM, private label manufacturing, which is really applicable to other industries as well, right? You see celebrities do it with their own alcohol, like vodka or tequila and wine. They put their own label on it, but it's really made by the same factory that makes that same alcoholic beverage for all these other brands. And that's kind of what's happening now. You're seeing a lot more of these brands coming out, but they're all really made by these factories in Pakistan, these manufacturers, and then they just kind of customize it and put their own logo on it. But to me, Top Boxer was kind of the original when it came to that. The Win 1s in particular are a Japanese winning inspired glove. Again, one of the first that really tried to do their own version of a winning glove. And 10 to 15 years ago, there wasn't really many replicas. You had the Win 1s. You obviously had the what are they called? The I can't even remember off the top of my head. The ring to cage C17 gloves, which were, again, their kind of iteration of a winning glove, because everybody couldn't afford. Well, like the vast majority of people can't afford, or they don't want to spend the money on a pair of authentic winnings. So you started seeing all these companies say, well, why don't we just try to make our own version of that at a much more affordable price? So the Win 1s come in at number 10. They're still a very good glove. Great really for all around training in the gym, whether it's hitting the bag, sparring with them, very comfortable. They still have that tricot liner on the inside. The leather that Top Boxer uses is a very high grade premium leather. All the equipment I've ever gotten from Top Boxer has always been grade A quality. And when it comes to Pakistan manufacturing, there's definitely different tiers and levels that you see. And to me, Top Boxer is on that top level where you know you're going to get a very high quality product. So coming in at number 10 is going to be the Top Boxer Win Ones. Coming in at number 9 are going to be the TK Boxing Pro Sparring 2.0 boxing gloves. These are gloves I did a review on a couple of months ago, and were basically the second iteration of their original sparring gloves, which I did a review on, which I was not a fan of. I thought they were very generic, kind of reminded me of one of those standard eBay Pakistan gloves you can get for like 60 bucks on eBay. So I feel like they took that to heart, and they ended up coming up with the Pro Sparring Gloves 2.0, which are $160. You can get them, I think, right now currently in 2 colorways, in blue and white, and I think like a maroon and black. You can get them in 14 or 16 ounces. They are a lace-up only glove, but beautiful construction. The quality is definitely a huge jump over the original sparring gloves. Layered foam padding, extremely comfortable. They feel great. And just overall, a really well done glove. The wrist support on the glove, I think, is one of the highlights as well, where they put more of an emphasis on a nice rigid wrist support cushion. And I think overall, they've done a really good job of keeping the price point really competitive at $160 to compete with other gloves out there. Now, these gloves are, specifically designed for sparring, although you can use, in my opinion, use these gloves for bag work as well. The cushioning and the padding over your knuckles is definitely, I'd say, in the medium side, so you can use it as a training glove. I know a lot of companies advertise gloves for sparring or bag work or whatever, but to me, these are designated as sparring glove, but you can definitely use these for training. I definitely think these are one of the more under the radar gloves that not many people know about, but they definitely are up there when it comes to the value for money, what you're getting for these gloves. So coming in at number 9 are going to be the TK Boxing Pro Sparring Gloves 2.0. And lastly, yes, they are made in Pakistan, but very sharp gloves for the price. Coming in at number 8 are going to be the Fialo Geo Boxing Gloves. These retail for $145 on their website, and they were so popular that they actually sold out. So currently, the website, if you were to go on it today, you would see that they're still under construction. But when they were available, and they know they're going to be coming back out with more of them, they were available in the black, red, or white colorway, multiple different sizes in lace up. And what I really like about this glove is that it has a very premium feel, has a very unique look to it. It is made in Pakistan, full genuine leather construction. Tricot liner on the inside of the hand compartment, very comfortable thumb, and medium density layered foam padding. So the padding on here, similar to like the TK Boxing gloves, is more on the medium density side. So essentially, the goal of this glove is to be able to use it as one glove in the gym. So if you want to spar with them, you can do so. If you want to hit the mitts, the bag, whatever you're using it for in the gym, you can do it with the Fialo. One thing that stands out highlight-wise about this glove is going to be the design. I definitely like the way they designed the thumb. It has a little bit more of a unique look where they segmented it. It almost has like this little V design on the thumb that has like a little middle stripe. And then the back of the wrist has kind of like a crisscross design that's kind of similar to like what Fly does, or it has the double stitching. So aesthetically, it definitely has its own look, but a very comfortable glove nonetheless. So coming in at number 8 is going to be the Fialo Geo Boxing Gloves. Coming in at number 7 are going to be the Laoch Hero Sparring Gloves. These retail for $105. So an incredibly good deal when it comes to pricing, all things considered with how much things are nowadays when it comes to boxing gloves. But these are full genuine leather construction. Laoch is actually a company based out here in the United States, but they are an Irish-inspired boxing company, so I want to make sure I give you guys that detail. But the Hero Sparring Gloves, again, are a glove that's essentially marketed as a sparring glove, but I feel because of the padding consistency, you can use it for all your training in the gym. You can get it in 5 different colorways. The one that I got, it has a very unique look because you have the Irish flag that is printed on the inner portion of the thumb. But they also do have other colorways as well. They have a Warrior model also, which is a very affordable price, I believe at $115. I have that model, but I haven't done a review nor have I trained in those yet. That's why those are not in this video. But here in the next couple months, that video will be coming out. But the Hero Sparring Gloves uses multi-layer foam padding, full genuine leather. It is manufactured in Pakistan. Tricot liner on the inside of the hand compartment. And these gloves really remind me of the MK1 Select gloves. Very similar architecture to the MK1s. Very nice quality. I didn't really find any flaws with the glove. Very well balanced. This particular model only comes in lace up. They do have a Velcro PU synthetic version. It's not the Hero, but it's kind of similar, but you can get that in a Velcro closure. So if you're not a fan of lace up, they do have a Velcro PU glove that has kind of a very similar feel to the Heroes. But for the price of $105, you're going to be hard pressed to find a glove as good as this at the price point of $105. It actually makes me question why other companies price their gloves so high. Obviously, from like a pricing standpoint, I know why they price them so high, because everybody's trying to make money, and you know, certain brands will try to market it a certain way and sell it for $300 and use all these fancy words for the construction. But when it really comes down to it, it's really the same as some of the other affordable, cheaper gloves at $100. They just try to make it sound really fancier than it is. But with that being said, these at $105, these Laoch Hero Sparring Gloves, extremely comfortable, great thumb, very nice finger compartment. Make sure you check out the review video I did. Obviously, I'm not going to give all the details on it in this particular video, but watch the review and you'll see what I mean. But yeah, definitely a top glove, top 10 glove. You know, if you were to ask me for the price that you're getting at, really hard to beat at $105. So coming in at number 7 are going to be the Laoch Hero Sparring Gloves. Coming in at number 6 are the Adams Boxing Sparring Gloves. These retail for $125. I got mine in the ocean green colorway. You can get it in other colors such as gray, white, black, and I believe they have like a USA theme color, red, white, and blue. You can get them anywhere between 12 to 18 ounces, and they are a lace-up only glove. These are advertised as sparring glove, but again, like I said, by the other gloves in this video, that to me, these can be used for all of your training. When I got these gloves, I really didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I've had a pair of Adams boxing gloves years ago, but that's not really what Adams is known for, right? They're known for their shoes, right? That's their main thing, is their shoes, and that's what they're known for. So when Carlos Adams came out with the gloves, you know, you really don't know what to expect, you know. So when I got these, I was like, okay, they'll probably be solid gloves, and they ended up definitely way exceeding my expectations with these gloves. Very comfortable. The inner liner feels amazing. The thumb positioning is perfect. Nice deep finger compartment. I know this is not really a big deal. The aesthetics of it, like the green and the white colorway, that ocean green looks really sharp. I don't think I have any gloves that are that colorway. And very well constructed. You know, I didn't feel like these gloves were like a throwaway to, you know, like when I say throwaway, I didn't feel like they're like an afterthought. Like, hey, I make shoes, but by the way, I also have gloves too. I feel like these can stand on their own, if that makes sense. I feel like they made these gloves to say, hey, you know what? I do really good shoes. I also have really good gloves as well. And they definitely are some of my favorite gloves. Even the way they feel on the heavy bag when I was training with them, you can get your 2 front knuckles to really land. Nice flat punch surface. Layered foam padding. They didn't use a cheap foam pad or injected molded foam. So at that price point, $125, again, these are amazing gloves at that price point. The Adams Sparring Gloves, and again, colorways they offer are definitely nice. The gray looks good as well. I was actually contemplating getting the grays in a smaller size to use just for bag work, but maybe that will be down the road. But yeah, definitely coming in at number 6 is going to be Adams Boxing Sparring Gloves. Coming in at number 5 are going to be the Orijin Boxing 01 boxing gloves. These retail for $135. Although, side note, they actually have a new model. They actually have a couple new models I just haven't been able to try out yet. But they have the 05 model that's $155 now. Keep in mind, I have not tried them yet. I have not reviewed them. They are $20 more than the 01, but I would venture to guess and I would hope that they're better than the outgoing model, which is going to be the 01, which they still have on their website. This is a full genuine leather glove made in Pakistan. You can get it in black and gold. They have different colorways as well. There's a really cool colorway, and for those of you on, I'm actually looking at my phone, so I make sure I get this information correct. But they have black and gold. They have like a red. Let's see here. What other colors do they have? if my internet works properly here. Like almost like a pearl silver, and looks like you can get it anywhere between 10, or should I say 12 to 18 ounces. So a good variety of sizes and colorways. And again, this is a glove that's very well constructed. I did mention earlier, when it comes to grading of boxing gloves, particularly from Pakistan, on how there's some really high-end, really high-quality stuff. And then there's really that low-end entry level. And to me, these Orijin gloves are definitely on the high end. Very comparable in terms of the leather quality to top boxer. Doesn't feel cheap. Has a very premium feel to it. Very great thumb position. Hand positioning is perfect. The other thing I really like about this glove is going to be the wrist support. There's a really nice emphasis on rigid wrist support. So once you have your hand into the glove, your hand is basically locked into place. So hand position is definitely optimal with this glove as well. I like that. One thing that is a little bit difficult with this is their website. Everything is in well, not everything, but their description is in Chinese, so you'll have to be able to translate it over. I'm not sure if it's in Cantonese or Mandarin, but in order to look at what they write about the description of the glove, you have to kind of translate it over. Now, one thing they do have is good communication. So if you do reach out to them in social media, they do speak English, so that you can talk to them. And if you have any questions, you could do it that way. But they do have lace converters that they include with the gloves. The aesthetics of the gloves look awesome as well. And just kind of more of a relatively unknown but very underrated brand. The glove color I was thinking about, now that it's finally loaded on my phone, is called the Dawn Special Edition. And it's almost like a metallic bluish silver with like a tan palm interior with like kind of like a reddish orange color. It looks really sharp. I don't think I've ever seen gloves this colorway. But yeah, definitely a very underrated glove. Great price point at $135, and I'm looking forward to trying their 05 model, which is their newest version, at $155. But coming in at number 5 is going to be the Orijin Boxing 01 boxing gloves. Coming in at number 4 are going to be the Primo Emblem 2.0 boxing gloves. These start at $125 on up. So if you get the smallest size, which I believe is currently the 8-ounce size, they have an 8-ounce size in compact fit. They also have a 10-ounce size in compact fit. And then they have 8 and 10 and regular fit. But like I was saying, if you get the larger sizes, that's when you see the $5 incremental price increase. So if you decide to go all the way to 16 ounces, it's going to be $145. So the price range for the Emblem 2.0 is between $125 to $145. I have mine in black and gold, which is the Onyx Black colorway. You can also get it in white, Mayan blue, mercury gray, as well as champion red. So you basically have 5 colors to choose from. They do make a synthetic model, which is a little bit cheaper. I have not tried it, so don't ask me how that one performs, because I have no idea. But this is a great glove. Some of my favorite Thai-made gloves. You know, this is a glove that's full genuine leather, handmade in Thailand, has a polyester satin liner on the inside. Definitely a really nice hand position. It is a larger glove, so for those of you that don't like the longer cuffs and just kind of a larger profile glove, you might not like this particular glove, but do keep that in mind. It is a little bit more on the larger side. They use 4 layers of protective sports grade foam, so basically just layered foam padding. But the thing that really stands out is going to be the craftsmanship. Just like a lot of Thai companies, if not the vast majority, the grade of leather is very premium. The stitching is pretty much immaculate. Everything about the glove exudes high quality, which I love to see. And you're really getting a great bang for the buck. So say even if you get the 8-ounce versions for $125, you're essentially getting a high quality glove. In my opinion, that's comparable to the higher end Mexican brands like Reyes, even to Winning. In terms of stitching and overall craftsmanship in leather, you're really getting one of the best bang for the buck. So if you've watched any of the videos I've done on any Thai brands, I usually say the same thing and have the same sentiments for those brands as well. You're just getting a great brand, and it's just not this big overpriced marketing gimmick, right? So I definitely love the fact that it's very comfortable. It has very nice parallel thumb. Great foam padding. I'd say that the padding on here is more on the medium to soft density side. Good feedback, and again, it's developed as a training glove. And one other thing to keep in mind with these gloves, especially Primo and some of the other Thai brands, is that they make them a little bit more rugged. And the reason I say that is because they're made for the climate that most people are training in Muay Thai in Thailand, right? It's a very humid, hot, damp area to train in. So you're dealing with a lot more heat, and you're dealing with a lot more moisture than you typically would than like somewhere here in the United States where it's drier. You're not dealing with the same level of elements, so you're not getting the same exposure you would in climates like in Thailand or the Philippines or anywhere else that you have a lot of humidity and heat. So that's something to keep in mind. So you're generally getting a glove that's just, I feel, more durable in that sense. You use a thicker leather, like 1.8 millimeters or 2 millimeter thick leather. And even sometimes the inside liners, they'll use leather rather than in certain portions of the compartment, just so that it prolongs the actual longevity of the glove. So definitely a great glove for the price point. Coming in at number 4 are going to be the Primo Emblem 2.0 boxing gloves. Coming in at number 3 is going to be the Messenger 3.0 edition XMT boxing gloves. These retail for $154 on their website. You can get it in multiple different colorways. It is a lace-up only model, and you can get it anywhere between 12 to 18 ounces. This is a full genuine leather glove with a tri-cut liner on the inside of the hand compartment, layered foam padding, and the glove is manufactured in Pakistan. Now, Messenger Fight Gear is an interesting company in the fact that I believe they actually produce, I don't know if it's under the Messenger name or they have obviously a kind of like a umbrella kind of company, but I believe they either produce or they know the producers of Phenom Boxing. And these Pro 3.0 gloves are just amazing gloves, especially for the price at $154. They really remind me of the Phenom Boxing gloves, of the SG series gloves when it comes to the type of leather they use, very high premium leather. The size of the gloves are medium, on the medium side. So if you were to compare it from a profile standpoint, it's very comparable to other, say for example, 16-ounce gloves. And what this really sets this glove aside from others, or apart from others, is just how comfortable they are. You slide your hand in the glove and there's really no areas inside the glove whatsoever that you feel any pinch points, any type of discomfort, any type of pressure in an area that makes you feel uncomfortable. For me in particular, it's always going to be my left thumb on my hand. For whatever reason, I think this part of my hand is, on my left hand, is thicker. So generally speaking, I always feel the piping more on this side. And there are certain glove companies and models that, for whatever reason, they just continue to make that piping at the base of the thumb extremely tight. So when you slide your hand in there, you don't have a lot of room. It's basically kind of pinching down on your thumb. And it just over time, and the more you use the glove, obviously your hands will start to swell as you train because you're getting hot. Your hands are hot inside the glove with your hand wraps on, and it starts to swell. Add the factor of putting on hand wraps, and now that portion is even thicker. So you have to kind of remember to compensate not only for your hand itself, but also if you are wearing hand wrap, which is going to add to the bulk of sliding your hand into the glove. But what I love about these gloves, again, is just like Phenom, there's a huge emphasis on comfort, and these gloves feel amazing. You put your hand in there, they feel great. It has a nice broken-in feel. The layered foam padding feels amazing, so you can land with those 2 front knuckles. A great glove for training, for all of your training needs. Perfect thumb position, good wrist support, and I believe that the weight was pretty much on point when I weighed the gloves. And again, if you guys are curious, check out the video review I did on these gloves. But definitely a great bang for the buck. I also do like the fact that they utilized almost like this patent leather, if you want to call it, or just this vinyl material that they use to cover the wrist patch, so you don't have any exposed sharp edges from the patch that says Messenger on the back of the glove. So you have kind of like this patent leather material that goes over the back, and then you also have like kind of this little gold piece of piping that separates the bottom wrist support from the upper portion of the glove. And just that little amount of gold was just enough to give it a little bit more of a classier look, but make it kind of stand out, if that makes sense. Just a little subtle design cue, and I think it looks great. So definitely an amazing glove for the price. Coming in at number 3 are going to be the Messenger 3.0 edition XMT boxing gloves. Coming in at number 2 are going to be the MK1 Select boxing gloves. These retail for the lace-up versions for $200. If you get them in Velcro, they're currently $185. So the Velcro ones are actually more affordable. You can get these in currently 9 different colorways, like blue, red, black, white, gray, green, pink, lavender, yellow. So they have a big variety of colors, actually a lot more than when I first originally got mine. And you can get this glove anywhere between 12 to 18 ounces. So that first things first, what makes that attractive just from the get-go is you can get it in lace-up or Velcro. It's not just a lace-up only glove. You have multiple colorways, and you have a good variety of sizes to choose from. The glove itself is made of full genuine leather. It does have a tricot liner, layered foam padding, and is made in Pakistan. And I remember when I first got these gloves a couple years ago and did a review. At the time, MK1 was kind of relatively new, and I would see their ads on social media, on Instagram, and there were no reviews for the gloves at the time, and really relatively not a lot of information, just in terms of like, okay, are these gloves good or not? So I ended up buying the gloves, and I got them in the mail. And just like some other gloves I've done in the past, like the Eizo Supremes, my expectations are really low. And not to say because they're bad, I just don't know what I'm going to be getting. I feel like, you know, I don't want to get my hopes up, and then when the gloves come, they end up sucking, right? So I didn't know what to expect. So when the gloves came in, I was like, whoa, these are awesome. I put my hands in them. They were extremely comfortable. Thumb positioning is perfect. The padding felt great. It had a very, I don't know how to describe it, a very forward facing kind of fist position. You know, like you can definitely tell when you put your hand in there that this is a glove that's meant for a lot of offensive minded fighters, right? And by that I mean your position of your hand is right there. Like you barely have to clench your fist, and you're ready in position to make that contact you're looking for. Really good wrist support. The quality was sharp on my gloves. They felt amazing. The thumb felt great. The layered foam padding was perfect for all training bag work, hitting the mitts. And matter of fact, pretty much all the gloves on this top 10 list are great for everything in the gym, you know. And great value at the time. Now I know the price has gone up. I'd say that's probably the one, you know, downside to this is that the glove price has gone up in the last year or so. But even with that being said, for a 200 and under glove, I definitely think it's still up there in terms of bang for buck and performance. There's a lot that these gloves offer with the padding, and I really can't find really any flaws with this glove. It's just a really all around great training glove. So coming in at number 2 are going to be the MK1 Select boxing gloves. And before I give you guys my number 1, I did want to give an honorable mention for what would have been my number 1 glove for $200 and under, which would be the Eizo Supremes. Now, the reason why that glove didn't make the list this time is because they're constantly sold out of the glove. I don't even know if they make the glove anymore. To be honest with you, Eizo has been not very active on their social media, and I don't know if they even have the gloves in stock anymore. So that's the reason I had to take that glove off this list, unfortunately. There's a lot of people that actually has reached out to me to see what's going on with Eizo, and there's been quite a few that actually want to buy my old Eizo glove, my Supreme, my white and gold ones. I have in 12 ounces, and I'm going to hang on to those forever. But it's unfortunate because they're amazing gloves, and that's the reason I took them off the list, because you can't even buy them now. So that was the reason why I removed them, but that would have been my honorable mention. It looks like they still sell them, obviously, on their website, even though they're all sold out. But if you were able to buy them, their Velcro versions are $149, and their lace-ups that I have are $139, and they come in 4 different colorways, and you can get them all the way, I think, from 12 to 18 ounces. So again, just unfortunate that they're just not as widely accessible and very active right now, because I think they're great gloves. So that would be my honorable mention. But with that being said, coming in at number 1 are going to be the Reaper Faith Super Samurai boxing gloves, which retail for $119. You can get this glove in lace-up or Velcro. They currently have it available in 4 different colorways. You can get them in 12, 14, or 16 ounces. The glove is made of full genuine leather. Layered foam padding with a tricot liner on the inside of the hand compartment, and the gloves are manufactured in Pakistan. Reaper Faith says that this is basically their most protective boxing glove. I have a few of their pairs. My most recent pair I got actually for a gift for a friend, but he ended up getting a different pair of gloves, so I ended up keeping it for myself. I have a blue and matte gold pair of their Super Samurais, and just an all-around great glove. To me, the Super Samurais are a better version of the Ring to Cage C17 gloves, in my opinion. Very high quality leather. The stitching on the glove is great. The layered foam padding is medium in density. It gives you enough protection. So if you were to use it for bag work, you're fully protected shock absorbent wise. But if you do punch with power, you still feel connected to whatever you're throwing your punches at. So I definitely like that. Comfort is great. I feel like my hands have no issues in the glove whatsoever. The liner feels good. Thumb positioning is perfect. When I make a fist with the gloves, I don't feel like my thumb is getting jammed at all. The base portion of the fat part of my thumb doesn't feel like it's getting the blood circulation cut off to it. Finger compartment is nice and deep. I can make a nice tight fist. Wrist support, again, is awesome. They put an EVA style foam on the back of the wrist so that when you have your hand locked into the glove and you lace them and you cinch up the laces, it feels really good on your hand. And again, the craftsmanship on the glove is definitely top notch, right up there with the high-end brands from Pakistan like Top Boxer and several others. So just generally speaking, compared to others, you know, at the price point that they start at $119, I don't really feel like you're going to find a glove that you're going to be able to compare that to. And now, keep in mind, everybody has small different nuances. Your hands might be a different size. You might prefer a different kind of padding over the Reap of Faith Super Samurai. So there's going to be a little bit of variance, right? You can't always say it's going to be accurate for every single person because there's going to be some variance with the way people prefer their boxing gloves. But in my opinion, generally speaking, for that type of glove, right now it's my current number one for $119. Great bang for the buck, sub $200 glove. I mean, dang, some of these gloves are almost at that $100 mark, right? And if they were $100, then they would be on that completely separate top 10 $100 and under list. But yeah, definitely currently my number one is going to be the Reap of Faith Super Samurai boxing gloves. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video of the top 10 boxing gloves of $200 and under. This is a list that took me a while to compile and to come together, which I felt was the most accurate. Obviously, the more glove companies that are coming out and more models, you know, over the years as we progress, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to compile these lists because the competition is so high, right? There's so many different companies and models out there that the margin for error, if you want to call it, or just being able to compare gloves is razor thin, right? It's not like 15 years ago where you have, you know, obviously you had like Winning perched up at the top and there's this huge gap between Winning and all these other companies. And you might have had like Rival right here. And then you had Grant, which was, you know, obviously top level, but very inaccessible and hard to get and hard to find because they didn't have a website. So it was kind of like an enigma with Grant. But now, over the last 5 to 10 years, there's so many other brands that have come out. A lot of PLM, a lot of private label, a lot of brands from Mexico that have amazing gloves as well. That gap between Winning and even then, even my top 10 gloves, I don't even consider my Winnings to be my top anymore. My top 3 gloves. It's my top 10, but it's not in my top 3. So you're starting to see really kind of the level of other gloves come up, right? And try to meet that of, you can say, Winning, right? Not necessarily that Winning is becoming worse. It's just that you have other companies that are really hungry to make a really good glove. So you're starting to see kind of that gap really become small. And only that, between each company, they're all fighting for that spot, that number one spot to be a great glove and for, you know, for boxers to use them. The other thing I want you guys to keep in mind too is don't always get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught up with a lot of like the social media. You'll see brands like Hayabusa where they put a ton of marketing behind it and their men's fitness and whatever. There's a lot of companies that I see that do that, and I do reviews for them as well, right? Like I'll do reviews and I tell it how it is, but don't get caught up in that. I would always recommend, you know, looking around, doing research on it, and deciding from there and forming your own opinion on the gloves rather than just basing it off what you see. Even off of my reviews, you know, I want you guys to watch the views or my video, obviously, but from this, still do your research, educate yourself. That way, you know what you're getting. It's always nice too to have like a brick and mortar store nearby. I know that's not easy for a lot of people because a lot of you may be living out in the sticks. But some of you guys might be in a major city where you might have a store. So it's always nice to be able to feel the gloves for yourself. But with this video, I try to get you guys accurate as possible so that it eliminates any type of guesswork when you're looking at purchasing gloves. And to me, $200 and under now is kind of the sweet spot for gloves, which is kind of unfortunate because it used to be like $100 was considered the sweet spot, and anything over that was like, man, you're spending a ton of money if you think about it, right? Like $150 for boxing gloves was like Cleto Reyes, and you would be like, man, I'm spending a lot of money for boxing gloves. Well, now $200 to $300, you're starting to see a lot more companies kind of push towards that, which is kind of goes with the inflation and the tariffs, but it's also kind of unfortunate, right? Because not a lot of people can afford those. So a lot of these gloves that typically would have been accessible are no longer accessible unless you make a lot of money or you saved a lot of money up. So my next list will be the $100 and under list, and that'll probably take me a little bit of time to put that together, to give you guys a good list on what I think is the best gloves in that price range. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.